was telling someone very recently how DEI for me is more than a career because I was literally born into diversity. I have a Muslim dad and a Christian mom, and this means that all my life, even though I'm a practicing Christian, I've always had an Arabic middle name. My mom is from a different tribe in Nigeria, and my dad is also from another tribe in Nigeria, which was not a very common thing back in the day. I always had to explain how I had family from two major tribes in Nigeria, and I also had Muslim family and Christian family, celebrated both Muslim and Christian holidays all through the year. However, now that I've chosen to practice a career in diversity, equity, and inclusion, I've had to think about a certification. I came into DEI primarily through the social justice angle, the social justice and international development space. And while I have a master's in gender and development, it was not quite holistic in terms of DEI training, in terms of DEI perspectives and broader, theoretical underpinnings of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and even strategy, policy, and all of that. It was not as holistic. And so last year, I started looking out for the right DEI certification to take. Shout out to Vivian Aqua. I spoke to Vivian, who's one of the very excellent diversity, equity, and inclusion experts here in the Netherlands, where I currently live. And I decided on the CDE certification. CDE stands for Certified Diversity Executive. And thankfully, last month, I was able to complete my exams and become a CDE, a Certified Diversity Executive. If you are following me on LinkedIn, you must have seen that update. And someone even reached out to me recently to ask me about my experience, following through with the CDE certification, the exams, and all of it. And that's why I thought to do this quick video to talk about it, just in case you're looking for some inspiration, some ideas, and some more information around a DEI certification. If you're here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you if you are a returning viewer. I really appreciate that you take our time to watch out the videos that I put out and listen to the things I have to share. I do not take that for granted. Of course, I remain Ola, your DEI bestie, and through Inclusive Erst, I like to spark conversation, learning around all things diversity, equity, and inclusion. We keep it real on this channel, and I hope that you're able to gain some inspiration to co-create a more inclusive and equitable world. Now, back to the CDE certification. The CDE certification is one of the certifications that are offered by the Institute for Diversity Certification, IDC. Lots of acronyms. I'll try to keep it simple. IDC is based in Indiana in the United States, and they're an amazing organization that focuses on advancing learning and setting standards around DEI training and certification. I've had a lot of people tell me about some horror stories when it comes to DEI trainings. Sometimes they've hired DEI experts and they've not been, very satisfied with the outcomes. There have been issues where trainings degenerated into, fisticuffs even, some horrible stories. And it's become important to engage DEI practitioners that are really certified, that have that stamp of, recognition, I would say, or stamp of approval from a reputable organization. And this is where DEI certifications come in. Don't get me wrong, I really don't think that a DEI certification means that you know it all or you're more qualified than others who do not have DEI certifications. Not at all. But I think that in today's market and today's world, where there are a lot of voices, it is really important to sometimes have this official marks of approval to stand out and to just show that, at least you're dedicated to improving your knowledge and, continuing to grow around your DEI expertise. So I signed up for the CDE certification last year. The other alternative is the CDP certification, Certified Diversity Professional. The difference is quite marginal. I think the CDE really targets leaders, organization leaders, people that are in executive leadership and management, and people that are really responsible for strategic decision making and action when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion within organizations. However, the CDP is probably better suited for professionals who just want to, either work or contribute to diversity, equity, and inclusion within their organizations, or are looking to gain a certification around DEI to improve the work that they are doing within an organization. So I opted for CDE because I felt like in the position that I was in, the work that I'm doing, the kind of the direction that my career is heading, I did need that kind of, management lens, that strategic approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion. There are several options provided by the Institute for Diversity Certification for those who want to either sign up for the CDE or CDP certification. There's the option of an online preparatory course. I think there are options for 3 days or 8 weeks thereabout. I'm not too sure, but their website has all of these details. That option is the fuller package. It costs around $2,100 if I'm not mistaken, and embedded in that cost is the cost for the online preparatory course, access to the digital study guide, and the cost of taking the exam itself. However, I didn't go for that option because I am more of a self-driven learner. I didn't really think that I needed that structured preparatory course. I went for the self-study option. The self-study option for the CDE certification costs around $1,051, and it covers having access to the online study platform for a whole year. So you get onto the platform, you're given access to the platform for a year, and you can study the course content for as much as you want. As far as you take the exam, the certification exam, within that year before your payment sort of lapses, before the 1 year that you've paid for lapses. I also got a study guide, a physical study guide. I hope that you can see it. This was sent to me by post, by IDC, once I had paid for the certification. And the study guide is very comprehensive. It's literally the same thing as the online study platform. It's the same content. It has a lot of content around bias, around best practices for an inclusive culture, boardroom diversity, supplier diversity, race, power and privilege, diversity, equity and inclusion in a merger and acquisition situation. It's a really, really rich course. It's a really diverse course. I found it very rich, very diverse. As someone who was coming from the social justice background, I found it to also expand my horizon with respect to DEI in a corporate environment. That was really, really good, especially around supplier diversity. That was a real eye-opener for me. So I signed up for this course last year, sometime in October, and I literally just, took it easy. There was no pressure. I would study like 2 modules on some weekends, 1 on other weekends. In fact, there was one time I went almost 3 or 4 months without even opening either the study guide, the physical study guide, or the online study guide. And then I picked it up later on. I wrote the exam last month, and thankfully I passed at the first try. In addition to the exam, there is a requirement to also submit a peer-reviewed material. So a material that is useful for DEI, strategic management, leadership training that you've created yourself is also part of the evaluation. So I submitted this, and another colleague who I had no idea who that person was when I submitted. So the person, as my peer, reviewed that and, gave me a pass grade. Like, yeah, this is really good. And also gave me some feedback about how the material could be improved. So it could be anything, literally ranging from a policy, an evaluation, research, a guide. I submitted a training package on anti-racism that I co-created as a consultant in an organization. So that was also an additional requirement in addition to passing the exam. So yeah, that's all about the CDE certification. You can take a look at the IDC website, the Institute for Diversity Certification website, and you can get all the specific information. I really enjoyed going through the course, and now I get to be called CDE, Olaoluwa Abagun CDE, Certified Diversity Executive, as an indication of having bagged that certification successfully. The certification is valid for 3 years, and there are some conditions for recertification at the end of the 3-year term. Not too complicated, I would say, but I think it's great that the certification also focuses on continuous learning, because diversity, equity, and inclusion is not static. As the world continues to evolve, DEI practices, DEI strategies, and even just how we approach the topic continues to shift and continues to evolve. And it's important as a professional in today's world to stay abreast of all of those evolutions and be on top of your game, literally. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section. I'm always available to respond to them, and of course, I love to always hear from you. Yes, you who's watching my video. I hope this has been very helpful for you, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and listening to me. See you in the next one.